Welcome back to the Zaxby's in Martin, Tennessee. Davis Gregory here alongside me, Chris Brinkley, our first guest of the show, Jolyta Henderson, head coach of the UT Martin cross country team. The season flying by right now, coaching your second to last regular season event. But so far, the team really has performed well here in this year.
Yeah, they're doing really well. We're doing really well.
And you got this Live in Lou Cross Country Classic preview coming up here this weekend as you all head up to Louisville, Kentucky. And that's going to be a very fun meet for you all, taking on some of course, those bigger schools, Louisville being one of them.
Yeah, the Louisville race is probably one of my favorite meets outside of conference. It's the first time we get to just let them go. You know, loosen up the reins a little bit. It's like, let's go race. You already know how to run in a pack. You've been training for this. Let's go ahead and see where you're at.
We talk about with golf, I always talk, do you scout the course? Do you do the same thing in your sport? Yeah.
Yes.
So what does that look like?
So we go there the day before for pre-meet, and excuse me, they walk around and then they run a little bit of the course, but we also get course maps to where we look at the course and kind of see how it goes. Some people provide elevation too, so we know like when hills are and stuff like that. It was pretty cool.
What was your favorite kind of course whenever you ran?
Well, I didn't do cross country. I had to do one cross country race when I was in middle school, and if it's flat, I'm good. If it's flat, I'm good.
So elevation is a difficult.
Yeah, I don't like hills. I don't think anybody actually likes hills.
Yeah.
So when you are looking at a course and you all, like you said, go up the day before, what are you looking for in terms of the challenges, what you're anticipating? What's something that can maybe rise up and cause some issues for your runners, and something that they have to definitely point out and say, okay, we have to be ready when this hill comes so that we can put more energy to it, make sure that we keep our stride? Just what are some of the things that you go over in the strategy?
Okay, so we do like to look at the first 2K of a race, especially in the men's race. Women's race, more of first K. So we look into that and just see what that looks like. And then we focus a lot on the last mile. So whatever we can get. Kind of whatever happens in between there is just going to happen. But, you know, if there's going to be a big hill in the race, we make sure somebody's there. It's like, okay, let's send encouragement, because it's hard to keep somebody focused and engaged with a race that long. So you kind of want to be like, okay, let's get up here, run uphill. And then when there's a big downhill, it's like, use it, you know, kind of giving those tips out in the middle of the race.
I guess stride does change with elevation.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Can you explain it?
So when they go uphill, we try to tell them to like be a sprinter. Like if you can sprint uphill and then turn over downhill, turn over if you think about running downhill, like you turn the wheels on, so that you can keep going, because then momentum will carry you and then you can kind of relax. So you don't put on the brakes, but you like take your foot off the gas.
So weirdly, that totally makes sense if you're a cyclist.
Yes.
Because that's exactly what you do on a bicycle.
It's the same difference. You just do it with your body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know I could do that. We have to go run uphill and downhill.
There we go. I don't. Again, we asked it on the first episode if we could complete a cross country practice.
We
probably would not be alive by the end of it.
Maybe not.
We might have to call the paramedics to come over and help us out. But
yeah.
So when you get to that final leg of a race for the men and for the women, and they are, let's say, 11th, maybe 10th, maybe second, and trying to make a final push for first, you obviously want them to kind of keep their pace, but also as a coach, when do you kind of tell them, okay, give it everything you've got throughout this last time and push hard for the finish line and try to get first place back?
So for distance, you can call that out within the last mile. Like we kind of like, okay, we got to kind of push. You can push a little bit harder for the last 800. So that's where we try to keep those marks of like, okay, this person's like 10, 15 meters ahead of you. Like you can catch them. Like that's not an issue. You're strong enough. You're mentally stronger. Like let's go.
What are the problems here at the Live in Lou Cross Country Classic that is going to be presented for you and your team?
Problems? Well, first off, we don't know which race we're in. We won't know that until Tuesday. So tomorrow afternoon, we should know which race we're in, which is what we're looking for. If we're in the gold race, we're going to be going up against some really heavy hitters, some really big teams, which is what we want, so that we can compete well. If we're in the blue race, we're going to go for the gold. Like we're going to go to win. So
explain that further, the differences between
the
gold
different
and
races.
The blue. Yeah,
okay,
and why you don't know until Tuesday.
So there's like a committee that decides who goes into which races based off of previous races in times of what they think who are the elite and who are like next. And then I think there's a silver race that's like lower than that. So it's just whatever they decide, whatever they think based off of our previous races and people that are on our team and what they can do, they'll decide where we would stack up against other teams. They try to make it a little even. And from there, then we just figure out who else is going to be in that race. So.
Gotcha.
And for you, when you have I think there are a couple athletes for cross country that also do track and field as well. And what makes a good track and field athlete a good cross country athlete as well?
Well, for the distance squad, cross country is an amazing base. Like, you get all of that aerobic work and you just keep going and get all that mileage, so that when you get onto the track, things are a lot shorter, a lot faster. We don't have to train so much tempo wise. We can train a little bit more speed wise to get them faster. So distance is awesome because they get that base in cross country.
We were talking earlier about how the music we listen to. So a lot of runners listen to music.
We do not.
And explain why. I didn't think you did, because it would be a distraction, and you can't do it during competition.
Yes, you can't do it in competition, so we have to practice the way we have to play. You know, I mean, we don't play, but, you know, that's the motto. So you have to practice and train the same way that you're going to do within a race. So we don't have music in our ears. You need to focus on your breathing, and you need to also focus on your body. Like, you go out for a run, you should know what it feels like if you're going 10-minute pace. You should know what it feels like if you're going 7-minute pace. You should know what it feels like if you're going 5-minute pace for mileage. Your body, like, you have to be in tune with yourself enough, and you can't do that if you're distracted by music.
Do your freshmen push back on that some? Or
freshmen, they don't. We have great leadership on the team, so they follow along, which is really great. Most of them have been training the same way, because high school they kind of do the same stuff. They don't kind of let them do whatever. So it's really nice. But sometimes you do have some people that are like, oh my goodness, like, how do I stay engaged for this long of a time, and kind of just talk to your teammates and stuff like that.
Well, I always see, and you do basketball warm-ups, a lot of the players have earbuds or headphones on, and I'm like, that's not what it's going to be like when you're playing.
It's not.
I don't know if that's
not,
a positive good thing. Yeah,
it's not at all. I am a big fan of you getting into your zone and whatever you need for that to get into your zone. So yeah, you can listen to music while you're stretching. You can listen to music while you're doing like drills, but when it's time to run and you're doing your warm-up and stuff like that, just turn it off.
You got to prepare for the real action that you're about to see on the course as well.
Definitely.
Coach, thanks so much for joining us. Second to last regular season event as we get ramped up for the OVC championships. It's going to be a very fun ending to the season. It's been a fun one so far for you all and your team. So thanks so much for joining us.
No, thank you for having me.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk Podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
And welcome back to the Skyhawk Sports Network and Skyhawk Sports Talk here in the Zaxby's in Martin, Tennessee. Chris Brinkley alongside me, Davis Gregory, now joining us, head coach of the UT Martin soccer team. Mike Varga as the Skyhawks just starting OVC play in a new conference for you, Coach. How do you feel that you all have started here in the OVC?
Well, we started at Moorhead. It's a tough trip. Surface is different. I thought we didn't play very well. And we gave up 2 goals on a couple mistakes we made. But I told the team, it was disappointing with how we played, but we were also close, so we did some good things. And we came back, and we played Little Rock at home yesterday. And I thought we played much, much better, created some good chances. And although we got a point at home and it was good to get a point, it still was disappointing not to win that one.
And, of course, I know you want the 3 points as well, but I just have to compliment you all on the opportunities. You just touched on it that you all created. I mean, 12 shots in the match in total, and also Little Rock had that as well. But I think from a defensive standpoint, Jolie Stinson, she comes in and she gets the start, and she's been starting for the past couple matches for you all, and really loved what she did. And also Gwen Walters, Peyton Cook, and then also you've got Jordan Bailey in the lineup as well. And those freshmen, they're playing some really good soccer right now, and especially on Sunday, I felt like.
Yeah, they're playing important minutes, and we had to throw them in, and they got to be ready to go. So they're improving all the time, and the other ones that are coming in that haven't had college experience are getting better and better. So that's definitely promising that where the youngsters are getting the experience, and I think that'll help us as we go through the season. But it's still, we need to, when we create those chances, which we did, we need to put them in the back of the net.
Talk about the transition from high school to college and what it takes to make that leap, and what you're looking for as a coach to know that they're ready.
Well, it's crazy here because I didn't meet the team until August. Mm-hmm. So a lot of these, not just the players, and I realize even after games now, I'm still meeting their parents. What I'm looking for is, first, everyone, it's the athletic piece and all that I could talk about, but I think to play any sport at the Division I level, there's a difference between passion and hobby. And if it's just a hobby where you do it when you're told and you go to practice from 3 to 5, 2 nights a week with your club, it's you get to college, it can be a grind sometimes. It still needs to be something that's enjoyable for you, but you have to be passionate about it to be successful. So I think that's one thing I look for is it an actual passion for these kids?
And unfortunately, as a coach, you can only do so much about passion and ambition.
No, you're right. And that's something that, it's not always fun to get up at 6 a.m. and go to the weight room and do all those things you have to do to be successful. But I also look at, will they be able to adjust to the speed of play and the physicality at the college level? And I also look for mentality. I think it's really big. I expect players to make mistakes. I don't go into any game recruiting or here thinking that someone's going to play a perfect game. But it's how they respond to that. Do they throw their hands up and blame their teammates? Or do they work hard to make up for it, try to win the ball back? So I watch those sort of things that I think are important when I'm watching on the recruiting trails too.
Most of what you hit right there was what goes on between the ears, the psychology of the sport.
Yeah. So much of that is, that's coaching. That's the psychological part is such a big part of it. It's not always easy, but that's you run into a string of bad results. How do you maintain confidence? And I was told a long time ago, they're going to at the highest level. There are players that face confidence crisis, and you got to fake it. You have to look confident until you become confident again. So that's it. It's not easy.
And if you look confident, then no one's ever going to know, oh, well, they're just not confident in themselves right now. So like you said, just have to fake it.
Look, I think if you're on a field playing or any sport, and you look defeated, your opponent has an advantage. I mean, body language is huge.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you knew on the video yesterday, I could tell that one of their players looked gassed. And I wasn't hiding anything. I told Mackie to go at her because she had her hands on her knees every time the ball went out. You can't show that. You can't put your head down. You can't put your hands on your knees. You just can't.
Can't do that at all. And Coach, you get Thursday off this week, so I know that feels pretty good. And then next Sunday, taking on Western Illinois again at home, a new team into the OVC. But again, this week not having a match on Thursday, how are you all approaching preparation?
Well, I think it's whenever you have this is how soccer should be played. It's the college soccer season goes by really fast, and it's hard to manage training, recovery, and all those things you have to do. Everywhere in the world, soccer's one match on a weekend. So I think this week will give us an opportunity to rest, get our legs back a little bit, and prepare for the upcoming match this Sunday.
How many miles are run during a match? Do you know?
Yeah, that's something I was fortunate where I've had a GPS tracking system on the players where I was before. That's something I'd like to get here. It's different by position. Typically, our midfielders that would do a lot of the running would be in that 7.5 to 8 mile range. And then one of the good things about it is then they start to look at it and they compare, well, I was in for 40 minutes and I was in for we both were in 90 minutes. You ran 7 miles and I ran 4.
Yeah.
I better pick that up a little bit.
But that's why it's a sport that should probably be played once a week.
Right.
Yeah.
And with the monitoring, sometimes you don't realize how much they do run. There was, when we first got those, soccer warm-ups can go an hour sometimes, and I try to minimize those, but we put the GPS on the players in a warm-up, and I realized they're running over a mile to warm up for a game. So we need to back off of that a little bit.
Where does the GPS go? I'm sorry, this is fascinating.
Yeah, it's like a sports top, and then it's a little tracking device that sits in a pocket right under your neck.
Very cool.
Very interesting. We had Katie on last week, and she talked about the freshman tradition of getting the players up on the bus and singing karaoke. Did that happen on Morehead State, and how did that go on the bus trip?
Well, it seemed like a lot of them were very eager to get up and sing, and they asked me to do that, and I sit in the front of the bus. I did not sing.
Oh, come on, Coach.
No, that's something no one wants to hear.
If you got up and you had the choice of a song, what would it be?
Yeah, I've never really thought of that because I'm not going to sing in public, but it would have to be maybe throw a little Michael Jackson or something out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite
Wow.
Michael Jackson song? What is that?
I don't.
No, you got it. Billie Jean.
What's the one with? It's got Vincent Price in it.
Oh, Thriller.
Thriller.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thriller,
okay.
maybe.
You go Thriller.
I can rap the Vincent
If you'll
Price
do that,
part.
I'll do the Vincent Price part. You sing.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk Podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
Look at this. You come in automatically prepared. Sorry about now. We got
We had to call the audible real quick. Had to go with the hurry up offense.
Sorry about that. I know you were enjoying
No, you're good.
fried pickles today.
No, I hadn't ordered any food yet.
Okay.
It's Julia's birthday, so shout out to
yes,
Julia,
happy
my
birthday.
associate
Happy
head
birthday.
coach. Happy birthday.
You two have been together for a long time,
A
right?
long time.
Yeah.
Yep. Really, really good friends, and you know, blessing in disguise. We kind of got paired up and unexpectedly, and I think we work really, really well together. Her strengths are definitely my weaknesses, and I think vice versa. But
Aw.
very thankful for her, and happy birthday shout out to her.
So how did that start with that relationship with you and Coach Noah, if you don't mind explaining that?
Oh, goodness. I got hired really late my first year, and the athletic director at the time, to make the transition easier on the players and me coming in right before preseason, he said, you know, one of the stipulations with me taking the job was she was to stay on staff through the fall, and then I could make the changes. I think both of us thought it was really strange.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wanted to change the culture altogether, and so I thought keeping a piece there was not really doing that. And I always had a male on coaching staff, and but we jive really well. I hope we always can kind of be a partnership. She definitely betters us in the gym. I think she's one of the most knowledgeable in the sport of volleyball out there. She is a film junkie, volleyball junkie, and definitely one of my best friends too.
How
So,
about some of life's greatest blessings are unexpected?
That's
and
right, no
sometimes
doubt.
you drag your feet into it. Yeah.
No doubt. And you know what? Everything, I believe, everything happens for a reason. And I tell the girls that even right now. You know, I don't know why we're having the struggles we're having. I don't know really why we've been going through what we've been going through this year. But I think there's a purpose. I think there's a reason. I know we're going to come out of it. I know when we do come out of it, we're going to be a lot stronger for it. But we just have to put our heads down and work and believe there's a purpose behind this.
And want to give credit to, I mean, Eastern Illinois is a very, very good volleyball team and a great test for you all there in the home opener. But you get Lindenwood this week. You go on the road for that one. And going up against the Lions, what are you all expecting there in terms of their strategy, and what are they going to throw at you?
You know, they're one of the most balanced teams in the conference, and what I mean by that is they use all of their attackers. So, you know, a lot of times, like EIU this weekend, they're going to go to 3 girls, and 2 of them in particular, and we know that about them. Still really difficult to stop. But Lindenwood, you know, with a balanced offense, it can be tough to defend because you're really having to lock in and try to read the setter, and it's less predictable. So very balanced. They've got some talent. They have a pretty solid transfer they got from SEMO, who's been one of their go-tos this year, a solid returning middle, another outside who I think has a lot of talent. And so all I know is we need to win. We need to go play the Lions. We need to go to Lindenwood. We need to come home with 2 wins.
So you were talking about earlier with this really difficult non-conference schedule, how it made you better, but also confidence is one of the worries. You're at that situation right now where you just need confidence. How do you get confidence? How do you help a team get confidence?
Win.
Win.
No.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think, and this isn't on my girls, my players, one of the biggest struggles I think for us right now, the ball's kind of in my court. I've never been this deep into season, into conference play, period, and not known who needs to be on the court. And I say that's on me. It definitely is. But I also tell them, like, you got to earn a spot, and you've got to go out and prove that I have to have you out there. And that's where we've lacked, I think, this year is consistency individually. You know, it's hard for them to develop chemistry. It's hard for them to develop a rhythm when we're constantly changing the lineup. And unfortunately, that's just where we are right now, and we're trying to still find what pieces need to be out there. And I think it's going to start, you'll see a little more consistency to it as I'm, making some decisions and going to kind of try to dig in a little bit and let us try to find that rhythm. But I think Saturday in particular, there were a couple players that I think we're going to start to see a turning point of them finding their rhythm. And, I think in turn, hopefully the results follow.
You're looking for consistency.
Looking for some consistency for sure.
And Coach, when you obviously after this Eastern Illinois match, a disappointing one, and still had some struggles here so far in the early season, what is the message to the locker room, to the girls? Again, you said everything happens for a purpose, which it does, and at some point in time you will find your rhythm, but just the message to them to make sure that they keep their chins up and realize, okay, we're still early on. That was just our conference opener, and there's a lot of time left to build up and get ready for postseason play.
For sure. I think coming into the season, we talked a lot about wanting to enjoy the season and have fun, and it is certainly hard to have a good time when you're losing. But I'll tell you, Saturday, the first thing I said when I walked in the gym was, heads up, heads up. I felt for the first time in a really long time on Saturday, there were glimpses of greatness. Like, not glimpses of, okay, we're hanging in there, like glimpses of this is who we can be. And, I really believe in our team. I believe in the individuals we have in this program. Not only are they great, great people, but they're talented. And, it's all about peaks and valleys in athletics. And unfortunately, most of our individuals have kind of hit that at the same time. But definitely, heads up. I mean, we can claw our way through conference and still have a successful season. And ideally, we peak and take off running at the end.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk Podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
Welcome back to the Skyhawk Sports Network and Skyhawk Sports Talk here at the Zaxby's in Martin, Tennessee. Brand new guest joining us, student athlete for the UT Martin football team and transfer from Ohio, Vance Van Every, center for the UT Martin football team. Joining us, Vance, thanks so much for coming on the show with us.
Yeah, man, thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
So transfer from Ohio, what made you come over here to UT Martin? We'll get into that first.
Yeah, man, I just didn't really get the opportunity I wanted at Ohio. I was a second-string guy who was getting to play a little bit, played in 4 games, was actually able to take advantage of a red shirt there. I was far from home, 11-hour drive, and so I decided I didn't really know where I was going to go, but I entered the portal and ended up here at UT Martin.
So where is home for you?
North Mississippi, a town called Hernando, Mississippi.
Okay.
That's not far from Martin.
Not bad at all.
Yeah.
So high school ball, where'd you play at? What'd you learn from that level?
Yeah, high school ball, I played at a school called Magnolia Heights School. It's a private school in North Mississippi. I think the biggest thing I learned in high school was my high school line coach and head coach. He really taught us what it means to be tough on the football field. And I may not have had all the technique or the fundamentals coming out of high school, but I knew what the mentality took to go up against somebody else.
I think, did I read your dad played college baseball?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did. He played at Northwest, which is where I played before I went to Ohio. So we both played at that junior college, and then he went on to play at Delta State, and he's a Hall of Famer at both. So
Did you play baseball too?
I did.
Yeah.
2-sport athlete. So
What position?
first base. Come on now.
Okay. And what did you learn from being a dual athlete, baseball and then also football?
I think maybe it contributes to my feet, my footwork a little bit. I'll also contribute that to my older brother, who's not a big guy. He was the quarterback, shortstop type of guy.
Oh, okay.
So, I was always trying to keep up with him. He was 2 years older than me, so I attribute a little bit of my athleticism to him.
Now let's get into the season right now. You start off the year at Georgia, and really no better test than to go up against the number 1 team in the country, who has the number 1 defense, one of the best front sevens that you'll ever see in college football. And what were some of the challenges, and how do you feel like you all responded to what they brought to the table?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I just want to praise our defense for that game. At half, it was 17-0, and they were really just playing unbelievable. But as far as offensively goes, I mean, that's the best defensive front and linebackers that we're going to see all year. And I'm proud of the way that our offensive line responded, and we were able to run the ball a little bit, which has kind of been our MO all year. But, I don't know. That's a tough defense to go up against,
It is. And so you get a little bit of a more, I wouldn't say in disrespect to Missouri State, but still a more easier defense to go up against than Georgia. And my goodness, you all have run the football so well, not just against Missouri State, but HCU, and then also this past week at North Alabama. What's the chemistry like on the offensive line right now? I know offensive linemen love it when coach calls run plays. So for you all to be able to see so much success running the football, what's the chemistry been like on the offensive line, and how have you guys bonded?
Yeah, man, we're really coming together. I think Coach Bannon does a great job. Football is a tough sport, especially at the offensive line position, but he makes sure to keep it fun, and we laugh a whole lot, and I've kind of really seen us all grow together. And I think the offensive line is kind of moving into more of a leadership role in the team, because we know that we're going to stamp that run. Everybody knows they're getting it, and we're going to dominate up front, so I'm really proud of where we're at right now.
Each year a team creates this identity. I know it's early, you got a lot of games to play, but what's the identity becoming?
Yeah, and I don't think we've met that our full potential yet, but I think our identity, as it's shown, is we're going to run the football, we're going to protect. Obviously, we have some great receivers. Kincaid's coming along great, and I think as far as the offensive line goes, we kind of have this thing that we play with a certain brand, which is physicality and tough nosed, and we're gonna line up and move your guys and push the football down the field, and I really think it's starting to come together.
And when you come into this season, everyone knew that Gavin and Lamar were the established tackles, and there were some new players in on the interior offensive line, you being one of those. But what I've been so impressed with is, again, the communication on the offensive line has to be perfection for these run plays to get loose, for your pass protection to be good. And Kincaid's been protected well, and Sam Franklin just won OVC Offensive Player of the Week again. And I have to give congratulations to you guys for blocking for him as well. What's it like when you can open up a hole and you can trust guys, not just Sam, but you can trust Narkel and you can trust Jordan there in the run game to be able to get through those holes and pick up big yardage for you all?
I mean, it's one of the best feelings as an offensive lineman when you know you get that movement at the point of attack on a double team, or even if it's a one-on-one block, and you know this is where it's going to hit. But I think we all have a lot of faith in our backs, man. We have a great back room, and I think they have a lot of faith in us as well. And we're just going to continue to move people, and they're going to continue to make the right cuts, and hopefully we can keep this thing rolling.
And at halftime, it's 21-10 there at North Alabama, and you all head into the locker room down 11. What was the message there at halftime? If you can keep it PG just for what was said in the locker room, but for you, what was the message from Coach Simpson to get back out there and jump on them like you all did?
First of all, there was never like a quit mentality. I think we were disappointed in the way that we performed, but we all kind of just had this feeling that we were going to go back out there and dominate, and there was no questions asked, and that's exactly what happened.
A very impressive performance from you all. And now this week, home game against Tennessee State, first conference matchup. What are we seeing right now from the Tigers, as you all have kind of maybe not looked at film yet on what they're bringing to the table, but they've had impressive seasons so far. So what's the expectation back at home, and also, again, first game really of the title defense for you all?
Yeah, I mean, it's a conference game. It's priority number one right now. I saw something on Twitter this morning. They had a guy standing on our logo, so they decided to make it personal. So we're going to have to go ahead and show them who the UT Martin Skyhawks are.
Hey, I love it.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk Podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
Back on Skyhawk Sports Talk here at the Zaxby's in Martin, Tennessee. Now joining the program, head coach of the UT Martin football team, Jason Simpson, as the Skyhawks go 3-0 in their early non-conference portion of the schedule, FCS non-conference portion, and a 11-point come-from-behind victory on the road against North Alabama, now 3-1 on the year and currently ranked number 22 in the polls. Coach, very impressive win on Saturday. Faced some adversity there, but you fought it well.
No, we did. And let me go back to that. Not in all the polls.
That is true.
You got to give me something to be get after the players about today when we get in meetings. But no, that's we're still always fighting for respect and an opportunity to get some national recognition. But no, good win, and it unfolded several different ways. What I mean by that is that you go down the first drive and you take the lead and 9 plays and it looks like it's supposed to look. Then you turn the ball over. They get a score. Should have got a punt blocked. That could have certainly changed the game. Good play by Aiden there, you know, and he kind of sputter a little bit, and to give them credit, they made several plays, and so now you're down 21-10 at halftime. You know, necessarily didn't ever, you know, kids didn't panic, the coaches didn't panic. You know, you got the whole second half, but obviously, you know, that third quarter is important to kind of, you know, get back in the game, get it a little closer, and you know, did that. Hats off to our defense. You know, they missed a field goal, so no points in the second half, and you know, offensive. You know, I felt like we were moving the ball, just didn't throw and catch as good as we needed to, and I think the game could have got really separated a lot better if we would have done that. But you know, good job by our kids. Even on the road, guys, we already talk about, hey, we're down. You know, we're down 7-0 already going into a game like that, and in the back of my mind, I was like, I wonder if they're thinking at 17, we're down 17 and a half instead of 10, because you didn't want panic, you want confidence, but you know, that was a good football team. I told y'all last week that was going to be on tape. They had played very well, so good for us, and proud of the kids. And now you get to conference.
I want to go back to Aiden's punt there, and gets it, and then he's got 5 guys rushing at him in purple uniforms, dodges all of them. What was going through your mind when he gets that punt and starts to run?
Well, the first thing went through my mind was it's blocked. Okay, we busted assignment. We didn't block the right guys, and they made a bad play. He made a good play, and their punt block team made a bad play. But no, it was good. You know, I don't know if I've ever seen Aiden run. I mean, he's athletic, right? But you never ask your kicker to run. He wasn't here that long in the summer, you know, for workouts and things. So
you don't work on that, obviously.
yeah. 5 guys are coming right at you, and you know, I think they were so surprised how easy they got through there. We didn't block them, but no, that was a big play, and that was a lucky play. I mean, it was, and you can't live like that. And there was another one where they had a trick play called, and we didn't recognize it, and we had a certain blitz to where that unbalanced line tight end was going to run wide open. And then they had a penalty on the play, procedure penalty. And, you know, and that's probably a play they probably practiced 40 times this week. And you know, but then you get in the game situation, the quarterback rushed it, and, you know, penalty got them. So, you know, we were fortunate on a couple things, but that's, you know, sometimes, you know, you need that as well as, you know, some other execution. Can't just win it all on luck, don't get me wrong, but sometimes you need some things to go your way.
Head coach of the UT Martin football team, Jason Simpson, still with us as the Skyhawks. Back at home this weekend in a big matchup against the Tennessee State team that just defeated Gardner-Webb a few weeks ago. They're coming off their bye week, and it's going to be important because, of course, this is conference play, first game of the year for UT Martin in this new Big South OVC association, but they face a familiar opponent in Tennessee State, coach, and this is a team that just, again, beat Gardner-Webb, a very good football team, preseason number 2 in our conference, and they certainly have got some steam right now here in the early goings.
No, you're right. They've won 2 in a row. They opened up with Notre Dame, so like we did with Georgia. They won two in a row, and they're coming off an open week. Okay, so you know, that's not good for us. So you know, luckily we're at home. Okay, and as you said, it's conference season. All right, we got 6 conference games, and you know, we kind of know who we are now, know the things we need to improve on, and kind of know you know, what players can do certain things after 4 games. So you know, now let's go compete.
And the running game has been incredible here throughout this season with Sam and the offensive line. How do you all carry that into the rest of the season and prepare for these teams that certainly are going to load the box, and Kincaid can throw the ball. We all know that. But offensively, as you go into it with your running back being one of the best in the country, how do you keep that up and continue to keep defenses on their toes with your running style?
Yeah. You know, that's kind of the question that you have to ask yourself, you know, every week from the standpoint. When you watch us on tape, our receivers are talented. They can go, and they're fast, and you know, we just, you know, you take it's a little bit misleading. What I mean by that is you take the Missouri State game to where, you know, you just hand the ball off, and some big plays, you know, were made. I was a little disappointed in our you know, we need the pass game needs to be better this past week. We missed some open guys. We had some open guys open, And he can make those throws. And so kind of got out of rhythm there a little bit after he missed a throw or two. But we've got to be more balanced. And now I'll give Kincaid credit for this. When you play, you say, well, teams are going to just play you man-free, right? 6 guys in the box, and you're playing with a tight end, so there's a 7th hat and stuff. But you still have to account for Kincaid in the run game, all right? And so, therefore, you get your numbers back, okay? So he's done a good job with that as far as, it's really been the teams that have given us a hard time, in the run game is when they they're half and half defenders or half pass, half run, so they're kind of folded in there. That's when you got to take a little bit more advantage in your drop back game and in your RPO game and stuff. But, no, we know we've run the ball well. Sam's have been outstanding. The offensive line has done a really good job. But, we've got to pass protect better. We've got to throw and catch better. I've got to call, more timely and better plays for him. I mean, everybody's got to take some responsibility for it. But you're right. That's the goal to where – but it's not like I was looking back at 2021, when Keon was our quarterback, and we were running team, but Tank was injured and Colton Dow was injured, and we were kind of playing whichever receivers were the best blockers. Okay, I mean, I know that sounds funny, all right, and that's how that team was built after some injuries. Well, we've got more depth at receiver this year. I'm very pleased with the talent that we've recruited there, so we've got to get them more involved. And you can't just always rely on Sam to have a big run and come out of one, even though he's done it up to this point. Okay, we need some chunk plays to flip the field and take a little pressure off the run game.
His question, I was thinking about. I spent a lot of time talking to you over the years, but not only are you scouting the other team, but on a deeper level, you're thinking about how they're scouting you. Yeah. Which is key because you always want to keep them on their heels.
Right. Well, I mean, it's the deal, too. We were talking to the staff this morning. I mean, defensively, okay, right now we can run the ball. We can stop the run. We've done a good job with that, all right? But, when you do that, you're committed to the run, but we're still giving up 311 yards a game passing, okay, which, that needs to come down, obviously. How do you get it to 250? All right, and then hold people for less than 100 yards rushing. Okay, to me, that's pretty good defense in this day and time. So there's always things that you can do better. How do you practice it better? How do you teach it to the players better? But like I told the staff today, we're about winning the game. Okay, what I mean by that is me as the head coach, being the offensive coordinator. If against the Tennessee State in the Tennessee State game last year, we were really good on defense and are really solid on defense, and they were having trouble moving the football. Okay, you see that, and you say, hey, let's don't put our defense at risk. Let's call this game conservatively. We've already got a 20-7 lead. Not going to give an out, and we got an NFL quarterback. Okay, so but that's how stats don't mean a whole lot. I look at them on Mondays, and that's the last time we look at them. Okay, it's ultimately about winning the game and doing things necessary. Yeah, you like to have a bunch of like the Houston Christian game. Yeah, that those games are fun. But you know what? Sometimes you live off those for several weeks. Besides that, you just kind of do what you got to do to win the game, and we'll continue to do that.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk Podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
I guess the topics of no value. I can't remember what the caption was on social media, but I guess that's what we'll roll with in this segment. So our question this week that we're leading off with, maybe if we have more time, we'll ask another one.
This one's deep, y'all.
This one is deep. This one is deep. Right. We're going to give you maybe a couple seconds to actually think about this one.
Yeah.
If you were an aisle at Walmart, which one would you be?
An aisle?
An aisle at Walmart.
Aisle. Yeah.
Candy aisle. I'm the only chocolate you'll ever need.
All right, I'm done.
Did that actually happen?
No, the candy aisle would be a good aisle.
Oh, wow. I was going to say the toy
Strike that
aisle.
from the
toy aisle.
Take it out.
Well, the toy aisle is varied. You got board games and games.
Like, we'll go baby dolls, Barbies, all that stuff. I mean, I don't know. I have a 4 and 5-year-old, and I know it gets them excited and makes kids happy.
Yeah.
But I guess you probably have a lot of crying kids, too, not getting what they want.
Yeah. Okay. Coach Varga, what you got?
I'll go with electronics because if I got bored just sitting around Walmart, I could at least watch some TV.
There you go. I used to be the kid where their neck was all the way up here playing on the GameCube whenever
It's
they
not
had
even like that anymore.
Yeah,
you
they don't
can't
have
even do that anymore.
No, I mean, come on.
It's no fun.
No, that's probably why I got to go start seeing a
Germs.
chiropractor.
It's germs.
No, no, most definitely. No,
That's
completely
why-
forgot that we were live. It's fine.
No, it's whatever. It's whatever at this point in time. Chris, which one would you
Well,
be?
I'm
we
kind
gotta
of
ask
like,
you.
I'll go electronics, but I would be with the albums and the CDs. So I guess kind of.
I would be the cereal aisle.
Cereal
It's
aisle.
vibrant.
Yes.
I like to be, bang bang vibrant.
What's your go-to cereal?
Oh,
It's not all vibrant. You got the brand section. And
you got the Honey Nut Cheerios and the Cheerios.
You look like a Captain Crunch.
Captain Crunch. See, I used to like Captain Crunch until it cut up my mouth. That's when it. That's when
Cinnamon
it really
Toast Crunch.
That is the goat. Cinnamon Toast Crunch is the best one. But also, if you go Frankenberries, I've heard
Oh, I'm out
Frankenberries
on
is
that.
pretty good. Shout out Morgan Goodman. Frankenberries. Frankenberries is apparently really good. I've had maybe a couple bites of it, but it's all right. But again, I think isn't it the Great Value brand cereal? Isn't that what it is? Like
Yeah,
they're.
yeah.
But what are they basing it off of? It's like a cotton candy. I
well,
don't know.
freeze-dried marshmallows are like
Yeah.
cotton candy.
So is it
cotton
Pink
candy.
Lucky Charms?
Value brand cereal. I'm out.
Uh,
I'm a cereal snob.
There is a difference. There is a difference.
There really is. There is. So, okay, we've got time for one more. We've got about 3 minutes. What is your favorite season in Martin? Coach Varga, we'll just go your favorite season in general since you haven't been here to experience all of them.
You're talking spring, summer, winter,
Yeah,
fall?
spring,
Okay.
summer, winter, fall.
I'm
But
an
these two-
outdoor, be on the lake, do some wakeboarding, so I gotta go
Oh.
with summer.
Okay, do you do any water skiing?
I wakeboard.
Oh, okay, just wakeboarding. Okay, okay.
Beach volleyball.
Oh,
once
there
again.
you go.
So yeah,
There you
I love summer.
go. Okay, okay.
Fall most definitely. I like the fashion that comes with the fall.
For the 3
Like
weeks that it
boots and
lasts.
Scarves, like really cute, but like not too hot, not too cold. I love fall.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm with you. I like the fall too. Coach Wilson, what you got?
Growing up, I'd probably say summer. I love heat. Summer, I like to spend time with my kids. But I'd probably go fall in Martin. Our quad at Martin UTM
Oh.
is
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
beautiful. The leaves changing on
That's-
the trees. I like the fire, sit outside, watch football. Fall fashion as well.
Yes.
I'm in.
It's got to be the top tier recruiting pitch, though. Is it's like, hey, in fall, I mean, come on.
We try to bring them in fall.
Yeah, exactly. Bring them to a football game, volleyball match, to soccer. They hit all the big ones as well. Sorry, we can't spectate cross country.
I'm sad to say that my spring fashion, fall fashion, summer fashion, winter fashion, it's all the same. It's blue and gray.
it stays with the fleece and the khaki pants and
Long
then the dress
sleeves all
shoes
the
as
time.
well. That's what I don't think I saw you wear, and it's the gray sweat.
Yeah.
It's the gray sweater for Chris and the khaki pants and
try
the
to
dress shoes for
blend.
basketball.
Yeah.
And I saw, and that's like the same attire every
Yeah.
single
It's
time.
my uniform.
That's what it is.
I'm like Gilligan. Only Coach Varga probably gets that. No?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you got it.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.